Welcome to the masturbating session. Joining us today, he shits out Tony Khan, like he eats Tony Khan for snacks and chews and shits out AEW. Fenrir the Wolf and myself, masturbator. I'm nothing special.
What's up? What's up, Bishop?
So we're back once again talking about AEW. And when was the last time I streamed? I think my last stream was Revolution, and that was around March.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the end of May now, and AEW has been like AEW. There are the good things, there are bad things, and then there is Chris Jericho.
And Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn.
Who?
And I said Sami Zayn.
And Sammy Guevara. I'll put him in the bad first, but I like at the moment I've been way more pissed with the Jericho stuff than Sammy Guevara. And that's the competition too, because Sammy is like unlikable in his own right. Anyways, weird like Double or Nothing happened, and Double or Nothing, spoiler alert, is fine. Like there are like as I said before, AEW has this thing of good things, bad things, and there is Chris Jericho shit. And he's like on the next level of bad. I think he needs to be his own category right now. We'll talk about the Chris Jericho shit later, but Double or Nothing happened around Las Vegas, and the whole marquee event is like MJF versus Wardlow, Punk versus Hangman Page, and nothing else. And they also had like an open heart tournament for both men and women.
And about what? Pink.
Pink, the ones who wear pink are the winners.
Yeah.
But too bad it didn't work for that. But anyways, it's a strange pay-per-view, and like then like people ask like, why am I just covering AEW? I like AEW. I will come forward and say that I've been more forgiving towards AEW for for at least these past months.
Except me.
Yeah.
I still hate AEW. I still think it's shit.
I've been more forgiving, and certain like I'm like no matter how many gripes I have, I'm still glad that it's here, and like so many things that wouldn't happen anywhere else is happening here. At the same time, AEW suffers from a lot of problems, and I don't know if I should want to like start from like the pay-per-view itself, but we're going to categorize on a lot of things. The show's formatting. We're going to talk about certain politics that happen, which it clearly is, and basically, Chris Jericho is in a whole different subject, and I feel like he needs his own. I would do an entire stream on him, but I don't think I have it in me to like do this constant stream over and over. And just to mention, Wolf had a headache when he was watching AEW, and he has a headache now. So I don't think I want to put him through all the Chris Jericho stuff. But anyways, I don't know if we should like start from the pay-per-view or should we start from the situation that happened before the pay-per-view?
I think you start with all the bad matches.
No. I'm talking about that. That is in the pay-per-view section. I'm talking about the one that happened before the MJF situation.
Mm.
Well, we'll start with the MJF situation because that
Oh,
would play a part in what's
he
going to
wa-
happen afterwards.
he he walked out.
Yeah, there were reports of MJF walking out,
He was
and
gonna do it. He was gonna do it.
well, we've been hearing reports on him leaning towards going to WWE, and the yeah, like that is I'm getting it in a little bit, but the report was he walked out, so people were wondering if he showed up or not, and Sean Ross Sapp said that he actually booked a ticket, but he wasn't on the plane, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Dave Meltzer has a tendency to be wrong about stuff, and Brian Alvarez is like cheerleader or whatever. He's unlikable. I'll say it right now. But Brian Alvarez was the only one who said, you know what, he's just playing you. He's going to show up. And fucking Geekdom, who like covers Dragon Ball, and not only Dragon Ball but wrestling, by the way, was talking about MJF won't show up. And he showed up, and he should show up simply because if you're going to get paid big money, because in pay-per-views you get paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
and I don't think walking out during that time is sensible. And even if he's doing some, he's doing, not only is he doing what for pay, but he's going to get paid a lot of money just from that. And he showed up anyway, which is great. But there's a major issue if MJF leaves. I'm not going to act like Cody Rhodes leaving AEW is a huge blow to AEW, because Cody Rhodes at that point in time was just unlikable too. He was nearing the Chris Jericho level of shit, and it doesn't help the fact that he was feuding with Dan fucking Lambert.
But it kind of helped. Kind of show EW superstars that EW not an end all. And Cody Pooh said, "Hey, I be set right here. You guys be set right here too."
No, like him going to WWE is not a bad move. I'm not in touch with what's going on in WWE, and I don't know if I want to watch WWE for a while. I'm a bit disenfranchised with the show and a bit burnt out.
Oh, Cody undefeated there.
Yeah, but I know.
He had putting. They are putting him like a top star.
Yeah, like he's in a good spot right there. But he had to leave AEW because he wouldn't fit in, and quite frankly, the company doesn't need him. He was counterproductive to what the show was happening. I'm talking about AEW. I'm not talking about the WWE one, right? Like, I just want to like make the difference here. Cody Rhodes in AEW with this constant deftone thing going on where people are booing him, but he's not turning heel, and Brandy Rhodes and everything else. He was counterproductive to what AEW was trying to present, and it doesn't help him at all when he's feuding with Dan Lambert, and Dan Lambert is the guy people want to root for because that's how much they hate Cody. And he needed to go, but if your vice president is leaving, it's not going to put out a good image for a company. I don't think Cody leaving is a huge blow, but it says something when the guy who started this company doesn't want to be there. And to be fair to Tony Khan, I don't think Cody should be the highest paid guy in the company if he's not helping the company at all. I'm glad he left AEW and went to WWE. where he's doing much better and people love him. But with MJF, it's a different situation because AEW is going to lose their top heel. Like as MJF said, he's one of the four pillars. He's going to not only be Cody is not going to have a long time, but MJF in his 20s right now. He's already carrying AEW, and he's going to carry AEW for years and years and years. And if one of your future projects leaves, and it's not to mention the guy who's moving your ratings and the guy who's your top heel and the best part of the show, or one of the best parts of the show, it's not going to help out Tony Khan at all. And MJF should have every right to ask for more money. Here's the thing, like that's something I heard from Jim Cornette because someone Googled it.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
And
Jed had more money. Tony Khan said no.
Yeah, and like it's insane and asinine because from the start of the company, MJF is like one of the rating movers. He was one of the guys that was like the bright prospect of AEW. And MJF was already getting paid more during his independent days, and that goes for everyone. Anyone who comes from the independent scene comes to a major wrestling company, they obviously get paid more. But here's the thing. Look at the highest paid guys and tell me if any of them were worth anywhere near as much MJF is. Christian Cage, and I like Christian Cage. I'm glad he came back to wrestling again, although he's not doing much. He's getting paid way more than MJF is. MJF is like your featured project. AEW features MJF more than Christian Cage, but Christian Cage is still getting paid more. Back, like the previous Adrian Neville or Neville, he was he was cool when he came during the start of the company, but he cooled down significantly. He's paid way more than MJF is. And he's not even featured as much. He's in the mid card or lower card. And he has not been noticeable or contributed anything to AEW.
How much
and he's getting paid way more.
How much Pat get paid?
Millions. Somewhere around, I'm not going to Google and research, but I know for a fact that he's one of the highest paid guys there.
Wait, I thought he lowest paid guy there.
You would think so too, because he's not featured much, but apparently he is. And what has he done for the show?
What the fuck? He get more paid than that?
I'm not going to actually hate on Pac. If you utilize him well, he can be good for your company, but AEW has not been utilizing him well for a long time.
I'm not saying that I like Pat, but a lot of sin, a guy fishing more in a show get paid more.
And again, Pac has been cooled down. I don't think he can leave AEW, and I don't think anyone's going to miss him. And that's a shame because when the start of the company, he was like the best part of the company. And now he's just there. And MJF, a guy who's been one of the best part of your company for 3 years straight, you would think you would give him more money. And I'm not even mentioning Chris fucking Jericho. I'll get to him. Who else? I could have shown a lot of them were a lot of them are ex-WWE guys. Fucking who's that guy? Sean Spears. He's like a lackey and he's getting paid way more than MJF is.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're going to feature MJF more and if you're going to have him as your future, your pillar, that Tony Khan has completely embraced that MJF is your pillar, wouldn't it make sense for MJF to be paid more?
Yes.
And you can cut out some stuff. A lot of the people don't have to be there. Like fucking Sonic Kiss is still wrestling and still getting paid. Fucking Sonic Kiss. Sonic Kiss has not even been there for like years. When was the last time you saw Sonic Kiss? Fucking get rid of him. Fucking get rid of Chris Jericho. Problem solved. I hate to say this, if this was Brian Danielson during like the early 2020 or late 2021, I would have agreed that like Danielson deserved everything, but he's not. He has been in the background for a long time, and MJ was already outdone the Brian Danielson, which is a shame. Brian Danielson was really, really good, and they fucked him up. But Brian Danielson, I can understand. But fucking like, you can get rid of some guys who are doing nothing for your company. Tony Khan straight up told Cody Rhodes, "I'm not paying you more money because you don't deserve it," and it is completely agreeable. Cody didn't deserve a lot of money at that time, and he went to WWE and got paid more and doing much better. But there's a difference between letting Cody Rhodes go and letting MJF go. Cody wasn't doing anything for your company for a long time. MJF is. Pay him some money. Give him more money. Why isn't he one of the highest paid guys already?
But because you're not CM Punk level.
I think he's near that level. But he's way above Chris Jericho. He's way above a lot of these guys. And as of right now, sadly, even Brian Danielson. I'm not asking him to get Brian Danielson money, but he should at least be paid more than Chris Jericho. You fucking have Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy there. And Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy are fucking gold as well. They won't compete for long, and you would see that once you see their match.
Yeah.
I hope this is all a work, and by 2024, like we find out that MJF in fact got more money and got a world championship. Hopefully.
Doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't know if I should be worried about MJF in WWE, but I'm sure.
I know. They've got to put him like a meta star.
Yeah, but like I have a bit of a. I'm every guy who goes there, I'm a bit worried for them. But anyways,
Look, Cody,
MJF.
he did well.
Yeah, but like I don't know. But anyways, I genuinely hope that Tony Khan actually pays him and MJF doesn't leave. Like there is like I want to see like I'm not opposed to the idea of MJF going to WWE, but I want him to get an AEW World Championship. And I felt like for a long time they were planning on giving him the belt at some point. Otherwise, why is he featured more consistently? I have a feeling they're just like playing. I'm not feeling like, because it's it's more and more obvious as it's not. But I hope that this is all turn out to be some kind of act to generate hype and intrigue for MJF future. And by the time 2024 rolls around, or maybe later that year, later 2022, we find out that Tony Khan in fact paid him more money and possibly have a world, and MJF has a world championship on his shoulder. But that's just wishful thinking. I hope MJF stays. I think, like, I don't know. I just hope MJF stays in AEW. AEW wouldn't be the same. AEW would just lose their top heel. WWE already has one. But Wolf, you want to say something about that? Oh, so you don't want to say anything else? Okay. So I actually wonder if they had the balls to give Hangman Page a world championship. I'm wondering if they actually paid Adam, like if they're paying Hangman Page more than most of the highest paid guys. Because why would you want to have a world champion that is getting paid less than most of your other guys? And I think it's a problem that can be rectified. I think Tony Khan is like a billionaire. I'm not going to act like it's easy for him, but I'm pretty sure he can let guys, like if it's such a problem to balance out your payment, just let some of the guys go. Just look closely who's contributing to your show and who's not, and get rid of them. Even if they're your favorite guys. Get rid of Orange Cassidy. What the fuck is he doing? He's been, ever since the whole Chris Jericho shit started, he's been, nobody gives a flying fuck about him. And he buried Adam Cole in the process. Get rid of this guy and fucking get rid of the best friends. Their whole act. Get rid of Chris Jericho. I think Young Bucks need to go, but Young Bucks are probably going to stay. But there are so many guys you can get rid of, and they can complain all they want, but who gives a flying fuck? You're an owner of a company. It doesn't matter what, there are people who are going to complain about you regardless. Have a fucking thick skin. You've been doing this for years now. At this point, you should be like Vince McMahon level of tone deaf. Vince didn't give a fuck who got mad at him. To his detriment, but nobody gave a flying fuck who got mad at Vince McMahon. You're not a wrestler. You know, like, even though you're running a wrestling company, you're also running a business. You should know that if someone is contributing to your show, you should pay them more. And some people who are not doing well, they should fucking go. Let them go, Tony. And maybe by getting some of those guys out, you're going to have not only a better show, but you can have other people that you're not focusing on, and you can work on them. Where's Jay Lethal? You signed Jay Lethal. Like, you literally signed Jay Lethal. And we don't see much of him, but we have to see more of Jericho. Or we have to see more of Young Bucks. Fix your shit. Get rid of some of the guys. Even if you're going to hurt their feelings. They've have them, WWE let Drew McIntyre go. He worked on himself, he improved himself. From both the in-ring standpoint and his fucking body and whatever. He came back and became a major star. Have some of these guys go and they can work on themselves. And once they're seasoned a bit, you can get them back. But anyways, I feel like, and I not feel like, but I hope this is all a play. They're all just riling people up. Like, some people legit believe that MJF's not going to show up at Double or Nothing. And once he showed up, everyone was fucking surprised. The whole MJF thing became a bigger deal than it already was. You can work on something like that. They already fooled people into thinking MJF won't show up at Double or Nothing. You can fool them again by saying that MJF doesn't want to be in AEW, and turns out he actually wants to. It's MJF. How can you take any of the things he's saying seriously?
Molten time. Well, Well, tiny,
Eh,
but but I heard one thing.
yeah.
Why? When he didn't want to come, he knew he gotta get buried. It, what? Well, look like that. Why he did got buried?
Yeah, we'll get to that. So anyway, like let's go to the pay-per-view. Like that's like the start of the show. I know where you're going, and I have a defense for it. But anyways, so double or nothing happened, and the first match that started out was MJ versus Wardlow. Now, before we get to that, I need to explain a certain thing that I didn't explain in my other AEW pay-per-view review. This is not a normal review. I am not a wrestling veteran or anything else. I'm just a guy who watches this for fun and entertainment, right?
Yeah.
I cannot call every move, like I cannot call every match from move to move. I think that is like something like commentators can do. And I hope that if you're watching this, I'm sure you've already watched the pay-per-view already, or even if you haven't, you can watch it. Whether if you want to buy the pay-per-view or if you want to embrace the pirate phase like me. There are several like pirated sites or pirated apps you can watch AEW from. But anyways, or maybe just watch it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure there are highlight clips and whatever. But anyways, this is not a normal review. I'm not going to call down every match from point to point. I'm just going to emphasize on the stupidest shit that I've seen, or something that's a highlight or something like that. But it's going to be more of what me and Vol think of a match.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a normal review, and I'm not like, if you don't like my way of reviewing, you can watch someone else who can like call down the match. But again, I feel like it's a commentary job and we're running a review. So we're just going to talking about the story aspects, or basically the results and whatever. And the ridiculousness of it all, or the greatness of it all, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We're not calling a match down to the moves and what they do.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm going to say, and this is something out of principle. Out of principle, I'm not watching any Chris Jericho stuff or Young Buck stuff. Like I'll be straight up honest. I think I said this before in my other reviews. I've skipped a lot of the Young Bucks matches, and there's going to be a problem that I'm going to lay out later. But a major problem with AEW is that they don't know how to format shit, and there's a lot of matches that you can easily skip out on, because if you see one match, you see them all. And I said this over and over. So Young Bucks match, I said I'm skipping. I'm not going to talk about the quality of that match because it's a Young Bucks match.
He was
unless
saying,
they fit. Unless they
was saying.
Yeah. And they're going against the Hardys, but like I'm not going to review them. I will say I've skipped them, and I skipped these no disqualification matches too, or at least the Jericho ones. And I'll skip the Jericho one simply out of principle. I hate Chris Jericho at this point. I'm not the guy, but the wrestler. So
I saw it, and I guess saw some. I guess saw some stuff. It's just a brawl, not espresso. I said
it's all over the place.
Yeah,
it's car crash wrestling, and car crash wrestling has happened so many times you get burned out. And what's the point of watching them? And that's why I'm saying, like, all the Chris Jericho shit, until he does something good or pairs with someone I actually like Eddie Kingston, Danielson, Punk, whoever, maybe then I'll give it a watch. If Chris Jericho is willing to be Chris Jericho, not some fucking sports entertainer. But most of the other thing that I'm not sold out on, I'm leaving them. I don't.
It wasn't like Undertaker That Dre Yard with AJ, that match was entertaining.
Yeah, and then they've like burned the whole cinematic wrestling to the ground. So, but at least it wasn't that. But anyways, until Chris Jericho does something good or gets paid with someone good, I'm not watching his matches, and that is out of principle. Call me a biased reviewer or not a proper reviewer, but as I said, this is not a normal review. I'm not calling matches down to how they're doing. I'm just going to talk about what I think of them. I think that is it. So before we get to the matches themselves, we need to talk about the whole formatting of the show.
It's shit.
There are 3 multi-man matches and 2 tag team matches, and if actually 4 if you want to count the one that happened at the buy-in, and you thinking to yourself if
I feel like
can
there should be all those handy matches should be on kickoff.
yeah, the buy-in or kickoff, whatever you want to call them, pre-shows or whatever. The whole formatting is terrible. People were burned out before they even get to see something good. And like, if you get rid of some of the multi-man matches, wouldn't it be better for your show? Why does it have, like, why does Sammy Guevara and every one of his group need to be in a pay-per-view, while guys like FTR, one of your not overact, but one of your over tag teams, have to wrestle in a free TV? Or why is Hook, who at one point used to be over with people, is now having comedy matches in the pre-show when you can actually feature him in your pay-per-view, in your main show?
Yeah.
Certain guys don't have to be on the main show, they can just go to the buy-in. Or a lot of the shit is spent on promos and hype videos or commentary. You can easily get rid of them, and you can like have more matches, so people will be more excited for the main show.
Yeah.
Their whole formatting is terrible. You can only be excited for multi-man matches for so long until you like, you know what, I think I'm burned out. And that's exactly what happened. You already have a 5-on-5 tornado no disqualification match going on. That is one of your big pay-per-view, like one of your big matches. And on the other hand, you have the Death Triangle versus the House of Black. On the other hand, you have Sammy Guevara and his girlfriend and Frankie Kazarian facing off Dan Lambert's group. Then you have Young Bucks and Hardys. Then you have Jungle Boy taking on 2 tag teams for the tag team championship. Formatting shows is much better. You can do them properly and people would not be burned out.
Yeah.
A lot of this shit is unnecessary.
A lot of shit. I fall asleep on match shit. Like for a while though, I didn't give a shit about the match. I was burned out. I didn't watch it because of all the tag team matches.
I skipped I was not going. I like Keith Lee and Swerve, kind of been fine with Swerve Scott or Swerve Strickland. But even out of print, even I'm doing in the first viewing, I'm skipping this.
I stick there too. I said I got tired.
Let's get to the main event. Yeah, let's just get to the main event. And it's a shame because some of these matches were in fact good and they got they were overshadowed by all the multi-man matches. And one of them really buried the other match, and we'll get to that. don't. And like this is another problem with AEW. They have so many of these ridiculous gimmick matches or these matches. For example, if you're having a no DQ match every week or two matches like two match in one show, people are going to be like, this is garbage, I'm not watching this. Like you can only be excited for no DQ matches for so long, whether you have blood or not, or whether it's brutal or not. If you're seeing them more often, they lose their specialty.
Yeah.
6-man matches lose their specialty when you're seeing them 3 times. Or like multi-man matches like lose their specialty when you're seeing them 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
There are less singles matches and there are multi-man matches these days.
Like man said, you can't spend blood all the time. You need espresso. That's why man don't overuse it no more. You know, it's stupid.
Like the whole thing was a pain to sit through because of the whole shitty formatting of the matches. But anyways, we'll get to the other problem later. There are actually two more besides the formatting of the pay-per-view. We'll talk about some of them later. But anyways, let's start with MJF versus Wardlow. So MJF was kind of teasing that he won't show up, but he showed up much later. He did an airplane thing where he's like making the airplane gesture and he's mocking basically Sean Ross Sapp. Because he's the one who said like, I'm going to the plane, and he said, oh, what were you saying about that? I booked a plane ticket, and that was amazing. People were really into Wardlow, and people just want to see Wardlow beat the shit out of MJF. But before I get to why I liked it and why it's a great way to start the show, Wolf, you can emphasize your point.
I think he got buried, and everything. I think he would make fun of people, make fun of Tony Khan too. He said, "Yeah, I show up, and I gotta get there over it." I think that JR saying do that everything, and JR didn't get no shot in War, and I feel like Jada in that match he made him a idiot. You know that when he hit people, he pulled out he pulled it out earlier like a big dumbass. Didn't make no sense. Didn't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
That not fit Jada character. Why he pull it out earlier in a match? People see him, and he get no hit on World, and he didn't.
I mean, he got some few licks in, but those were nothing to go off on about. But yeah, continue.
And they put World like a Goldberg. The intro was like Goldberg. And after that, after Matt over, JF would take him like a hospital, like the palm bond injure him. That kind of make no sense.
Especially after all the other shit you've seen, but yeah.
Yeah. Try to make World a monster he should not be fought with. But this same fucking powerbomb many times. He didn't go hospital. Why Jared need to go hospital?
Okay. So, um, I'll tell you. Hold up. Okay. Just a second. Just a second. So, anyways, so I would agree with you on some instances. Um, and then I'll explain some of the stuff that you didn't understand. So the first thing first, I'll agree with you that pushing Wardlow at this point in his career is a bit strange because you've seen him have competitive matches and lose more times than win. And when 3 years into his run or 2 years into his run, you start pushing him like he's Goldberg. Why didn't you do that beforehand? You had him act like he's every other guy, and suddenly he's acting like Goldberg. It's a bit bizarre, and that's something pointed out by various people, including Jim Cornette. He made a joke that is this some kind of like a Japanese book where you have to like read from the very end of the shit, and it's kind of true. And this is a problem with AEW is that they'll book these guys and like treat them properly and treat them like stars after years after they've been and look at FTR for example. So in that sense, I kind of agree that pushing him like Goldberg is a bit strange. But at the same, and you know what, I would even like, I felt like this match could have gone longer and would have been more competitive. But based on the MJF Tony Khan situation, if MJF is in fact leaving, they kind of changed it and shortened it. But as for the those are the parts I kind of felt like they changed it for MJF to be fed to Wardlow. I would not call this a burial though, and and it's going to be one good reason. I think those changes were made for the better. So first thing first, like like the M Goldberg entrance. Yes, it's the same, but the context is MJF limited Wardlow to where you can't hear his music and he has to be handcuffed and has to be on security guard because he's treated like an animal. So what they did with that is, okay, so I'm going to like, okay, you're going to have matches, but you're not going to get your music and you're going to be handcuffed until you actually face. So it's more of a stipulation thing than a character thing. Secondly, I think MJF, like, if you're going to push Wardlow as Goldberg, I don't think it needs to be a competitive match. Otherwise, it would just become something like Sting and Hogan at Starrcade 1997. And certain matches don't have to be competitive. Granted, MJF at the level as he is should not be beaten this quickly. But and the ring thing you brought up, I didn't. Like, I kind of agree with you. It's kind of stupid at the point he did it. I think he was just trying to get this over with. But at the same time, you have to like understand, like, people didn't want to see MJF have a competitive match with Wardlow. They want to see Wardlow beat the shit out of MJF. And on that regard, they opened, like, the way this match happened is actually benefited the show because you're going to see a lot more shit. And by just having a satisfying conclusion to a story, start out the show, it's going to start the pay-per-view in a high road. Like, the whole thing started off with the bang. And if the match was competitive, when people wanted to see a squash, I think it would have like fumbled the show from the start. And another thing, after everything you see after this, if MJF survives everything through Wardlow, it would be counterproductive to what you're doing with Wardlow and to the show. Because if you've done everything in the start of the show, why would we want to watch the rest of it if they lose by easier moves? So, and I think Punk saw like 7 power bombs. MJF went through 10, and he is going to be a bit more snobbish and obnoxious with his selling. He actually made Wardlow a bigger deal just by doing him a favor and having a squash match instead of a competitive match. I think it was a great way to start the show. because it has to be what it needed to be instead of the other way around. But it also makes you feel like MJ is not going to be in AEW for long, or he's going to be leaving after this. But we'll see what happens with MJF later. I
Yeah.
think this was a great way to open the show because people were hot for Wardlow. People wanted to see Wardlow beat the shit out of MJF, and they got that. And I think it was good booking.
I see you, man.
I don't know if things are going to be better. I think it's going to take a long time for things to get better before things already got worse before it got better because the whole thing start off the pay-per-view in a great way, and then a Young Bucks match happened. And Young Bucks had to do everything they can.
Yeah.
They had a match with the Hardy Boys, and to be fair, like even though the match happened like 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, people still wanted to see Young Bucks and Hardy Boys in a big pay-per-view. So I can kind of see why this needed to be in the pay-per-view. But I'm going to get to a problem. I don't know how to get to the second problem, but I'll say this. Hardy's already had multiple matches before they faced Young Bucks. And once you've seen Jeff Hardy, you've also seen that the bloom is of the rose. Both the Hardys can't go the way they want to, so why would they want to see a Young Bucks versus Hardys match when the two teams have proven that they're capable of not going or not having a Young Bucks match?
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say this, Young Bucks actually were the ones to carry the Hardy Boys instead of the other way around. But how can you have Jeff can't walk properly anymore? And every time he takes the bump, I'm not looking at how cool he is. I'm fucking terrified of this guy because he can just like get crippled in no time.
Yeah.
If he goes the way he wants to.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy, give me a fucking break. This dude is so. He's one of the guys who has counterproductive the show. Why is he still wrestling?
He still go.
They're old men who can't go the way they used to, and one of them is such a annoying presence, and he was doing the hokey delete shit that used to be cool in 2017 or 2016, but in 2022, if you've grown up, you're not going to like this shit.
Yeah.
And they're doing this, it gets annoying, and then they're like, and this goes to the other problem I want to mention. Young Bucks just need to have a match in the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Like they were in full gear in a 6-man no disqualification match, which kind of killed the whole pay-per-view for me for the most part. And they had no logical reason to be in a pay-per-view, but they managed to pull that off. And at a garbage match against Jurassic Express and Christian Cage, they were in a 3-way tag team championship match with the Red Dragon and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, the Jungle Friends. And again, it made no logical reason for why they had to be there. I think people just wanted to see Red Dragon versus Red Dragon go for the tag team championship.
Yeah.
Young Bucks just inserted themselves to have one more, another 3-way tag team championship match.
Yeah.
Now they're wrestling again against the Hardys, and even though it's Young Bucks versus the Hardys,
we see it many times. We see it in Ring of Honor.
We saw it in Ring of Honor, and they know you've seen it because they were featuring that match in their promos. in the hype videos. Hardys can't go, and Young Bucks have like go away heat with everyone. Even if people like the Young Bucks matches, they don't like to see Young Bucks. They have go away heat, and
Yeah.
they're still in a pay per view. While FTR, the most over tag team in AEW right now, and the best tag team ever, the guys who beat the Young Bucks, are had needed to have a match in the free TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my second problem is Young Bucks are playing fucking politics. They're fucking because they're the executive vice president.
They use the
They
power get on all the fucking pay per view.
yeah, and just to have their kind of match, which makes no sense. Why would you want to like at some point like the Hardys thing? I can kind of agree, but they'll literally put themselves inserted themselves in the Revolution and Full Gear, where they had no business to be a part of. At some point, Tony Khan has to be like, no, you're going to sit this one down.
They not do like Kamada, go away.
Can you make a went away? And I kind of miss him, and he was nowhere near as bad as the Young Bucks were.
And I
Young
said
Bucks
that.
have
And I said I miss him. Why not miss him? Fuck him.
well, but yeah, like there are certain matches I want to see with Kenny Omega, and he's been gone, and you kind of be like, you know what? He was not as bad as the Young Bucks, and I would actually take his presence over the Young Bucks. Granted, it's Kenny Omega, but like Young Bucks need to be at a point where they have to have this talk, work on a more background role at this point. What else they can do with this? Nobody likes them, nobody wants them. They inserting them in pay-per-views when it makes no sense, or in this case facing an older team you've already faced 5 times before, and a team you don't have to face anymore, and they're fucking old as shit, and they can go any longer.
And
So this is a match.
both don't got 1-1 wins. And
Yeah,
what point Fisher?
What's the point of losing to FTR if FTR are not going to be pushed or be at a bigger level when you're still when you're still at a young. I'm not going to say FTR didn't benefit from the win, but what's the meaning of FTR beating the Young Bucks if Young Bucks are still going to be put on pay-per-views while FTR has to face in free TV? Which is why I'm like, why couldn't they just face for the tag team championship? Why does Ricky Stark and Hobbs, who I like, but why? And Keith Lee and Swerve, one I like and the one I think is cool. Why do they have to have a 3-way tag team match when they could just do a FTR versus Jungle Friends match? It still says something when FTR is still on the free TV match and Young Bucks are doing Young Bucks shit at a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And just to emphasize this once again, I don't have a problem with Young Bucks versus Hardys in a pay-per-view. My problem is this is yet again one of the Young Bucks pay-per-view matches that you don't have to see, and Hardys can't go anymore. If you're going to have a pay-per-view match, at least don't expose the Hardy Boys. If you don't have any of the matches with the Hardys, it would make more sense, but you already seen the Hardys and you don't want to see more of the Hardys. So this is a kind of match where you like the team for what they used to be, but don't want to see any more of them because they're going to hurt themselves at some point. And you have the other team you don't want to see and you don't like, and you just want them out of your television.
Yeah.
one team can't go and the other team goes way too much. Like they're Hulk Hogan and whatever. So this was what it expected to be. Hardy's being carried by Young Bucks, for Young Bucks putting their shit in.
Yeah, more shit.
And there are no tag team rules. Like all four members can just be at for a long period of time because they have one of the corpse referees. One of the corpse referees just like doesn't do anything. He just like stands there like a moron, while Young Bucks just like both of the Bucks just have to be in like the fucking ring. Then you saw Hardy doing a swanton to one of the Bucks through a steel steps, and it's still like I'm cringing at this point. And you like here's another thing. Jeff Hardy was not able to perform swanton anymore. At one point, he was able to perform the swanton, but he was not able to hurt people. Now he has to apologize to everyone beforehand that I'm going to do a swanton and I'm going to hurt you, but I apologize in advance. So, if a guy can't perform a normal finisher on the ring, why would you want to have him perform a normal perform one of the moves he can't perform through the steel step? You're already hurting one of the Bucks. What's the big idea of having him do a swanton through the steel step? I don't know. Young Bucks, and I can't figure them out. Jeff Hardy needs to retire.
Yeah,
I've actually felt bad. Like, I feel bad for saying this. There are certain things I want to see Hardy do, but I don't want to see Hardy anymore. I don't want to see neither of the Hardys.
didn't the entire like fucking Undertaker.
Exactly. And they're nowhere near as old as the Undertaker. But they've done this shit for so long, it's clearly breaking down their bodies. And it's just sad seeing them. Like, they have nothing to lose. They don't have to win the AEW Tag Team Championship. They can retire now and nothing would be lost. And they should retire. Jeff's already struggling to walk. Do you want him be fucking crippled?
Yeah, well,
Or mad too? Yeah. He's not able to perform his moves properly. He looks like he's struggling to walk. And he's still doing this Daredevil shit. And what's the point of Hardy doing it when you've seen every mini villain do it? You've seen Young Bucks do it, you see Darby Allin do it. You see, I'm sure John Moxley did it at some point. Why, I feel like Jeff, the Hardy Boys should have whatever reputation they have and just go.
Yeah.
Nothing would be lost, and I just feel bad. Young Bucks, I hope they get legitimately hurt so we don't have to see more of them. And it's a shame to say it, but that's how I feel.
Same here.
But yeah, Jeff Hardy performed a swanton through the steel step to one of the Bucks, and the other Buck got a twist of fate, kicked out at 2, got a side effect, stood right back up like he's Hulk fucking Hogan, hulking up, and then he had another twist of fate and a swanton. Then he lost.
And you got about young too high Young Bucks kid.
10 fucking super kicks, and they all kicked out at 2.
Yeah.
And this is a guy gets super kicked 10 times, he kicks out at 2. A guy but if you hit someone with a knee and it looks fake as shit, that's your finish. That's your finisher. And apparently that hospitalized Hangman Adam Page before he went to hiatus so they could have a match between Christian Cage and Kenny Omega at All Out. Their fake knee lift is the finisher, but 10 super kicks is not. The Young Bucks make no sense. Why am I even bothering to figure out the knowledge? This match was bad. Young Bucks are terrible, and the no selling is ridiculous. And they don't even look like, if Wardlow does this, I wouldn't mind, because Wardlow's jacked as shit. Young Bucks are like booked like Hulk Hogan or Road Warriors, and I don't want to go for their look, but they don't have that look where you find this believable. But what your thoughts?
I say Young Buck got history and no Sony move. People criticize them move. Their argument is why they should sell a move. Have I know it fake? My argument because you spoil the business and make that watcher look bad. You don't sell a move, Young Buck.
They've exposed the business for a long time, and they happily would gloat about exposing the business. But
yeah, that's why people watchers don't like the Young Bucks. They don't show respect of business.
And everyone's doing their kind of matches. Lucha Brothers are doing the Young Bucks kind of matches, and you're like, why is Young Bucks special at this point?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm actually worried that Young Bucks would be 40 in the same match as Hardy Boys, and they'll still do this shit, and they're going to be at the same place as Hardys are right now. Anyways, moving on. This doesn't get better. So the first, like after this was Jade Cargill and Anna Jay, and it was a toilet break match. Nobody like I still everyone's like hyping up Jade Cargill as if she's going to be the best woman in the business, and they're treating her as such with the undefeated streak going on. She's 33-0. Right? She's 33-0.
Yeah.
People are acting like she's the best thing in AEW, and she's going to be at a point in time where she's going to be in the same level as Punk and Bryan and MJF. And she's in toilet break matches. She's a mid-card champion of the women's division. Every time she has a match, it's a toilet break match. People are saying she's improving, and if you're talking about power moves, okay, but I'm sure Beth Phoenix can do whatever Jade Cargill do and do it better in her prime.
Yeah. Our move our move looks sloppy.
She's sloppy and shit. Every time I watch her, there's one or two botches. I've noticed 2 botches in this match. Like Anna Jay, I've seen less of, but she's one of the Dark Order, so why would I even give a shit? But why, like Jade, like it's every Jade Cargill match. They have a 2 botch, like there's going to be 1 botch or whatever. And granted, she's green, but then you don't put her at a high level if she's not ready for the spot. She's always in toilet break matches.
Well, Cody Drain, Matt Waiter is Drain. He looked like Mel Bucks.
Okay. But it's like, if she's not ready, she should have proper training before she's pushed. But they're pushing her like she's fucking Goldberg, running through the entire women's division, and she's not doing anything. And then this is another problem. If you're going to have her be booked like a monster, what's the big idea of what's the bright idea of like having her needing help to beat someone like Anna Jay? Anna Jay is like a lower card wrestler at the moment. Like the last time I saw her, she lost to someone. I think Britt Baker it was. She's always featured at a lower level. So when Jade Cargill needs to need help from her other crew members and then some Teddy Long looking guy, like, and fucking Mark Sterling to beat Anna Jay. Wow, like, how is this woman impressive? Like, how did she look strong? She's watching it, like, she's not just her, but Jade Cargill too. They're like, not Jade Cargill, sorry. Not just Jade Cargill, but Anna Jay too. They're watching things. Jade Cargill is consistently featured in toilet break matches. Like, and she's needing help to beat a lower card wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, is this their big idea of her being on the same level as Punk and Britt Baker and whoever?
Yes. I think they're copying web-based season stars and people like Matt Bater, Bater at the T Shaffernan. But the problem is they knowledge they are what's AEW not they treated her it not a whoopsie.
And like, here's another thing. Beth Phoenix stood out at the moment where WWE saw women as sex appeal and having toilet break matches themselves. But she stood out as a strong champion, and I think it was like a 2012 run or whatever where she was a Divas champion and she was running through the entire women's division. I feel like they're building Jade Cargill as the next second coming of Beth Phoenix, but the difference is Jade, like, whatever, like, she's at the moment, like, you can argue that Beth Phoenix could have been capable, but was at a spot where women were not seen as wrestlers. Jade Cargill is at a spot where women are seen as wrestlers these days, but you're not ready for this spot. And it says like, everyone's talking about how, like, there's a reason I'm more harsher on Jade Cargill than I'm on Anna Jay, because Anna Jay is someone I don't give a shit about, but everyone's hyping up Jade Cargill as someone who is drastically improving. She won the most improved woman of the year in 2021. You would think she would be on the same wrestling level as Britt Baker, but no, she's in toilet break matches. She's botching. Every Jade Cargill match has some kind of botch, and she can't sell for shit. I'm getting to that. But if you need if you're going to be built like a top star going through an entire women's division, and you need help from like 4 people to beat Anna Jay, I think it says something about you.
Yeah,
it's not helping her.
Yeah, that's not you put a monster or a powerhouse. That put a person you need number game.
And anyway, so they had a stare down with Chris Statlander, Anna Jay, 3 of Jade Cargill's buddies, 4 actually, except for Mark Sterling. Mark Sterling's crippled. And then they had Ember Moon. And Ember Moon showed up. I think she goes by Athena.
Yeah.
And everyone fought for her. And Jade Cargill, fucking get her to have acting classes. Like, she was smiling before Ember Moon even showed up. And wouldn't you be like shocked or be terrified that someone is like, you're just like no selling someone's debut? I was actually believing that Jade Cargill kind of gave away Ember Moon's heel turn, but no. She's smiling, she's not selling anything, not even her debut. So she obviously doesn't see Ember Moon as a threat, and that's a wonderful way to book someone's debut, where
Yeah,
your debuting wrestler is not seen as a threat by the champion.
yeah. Bertie said, "Fuck you." Now, like, I get Cam out of credit. He saw Dan Bryan. He was fucking stare.
He was scared. He didn't even want to face Brian Danielson until he goaded him to do so, and he didn't want to see him. He didn't want to face him again after the draw. It's not just him. Like Roman Reigns when AJ Styles showed up in the Royal Rumble, even though they're mostly focusing on his face and Roman had to look strong against AJ, he still had a surprise look.
Yeah,
And it says something when that was a better selling of a debut than Jade Cargill is.
or Brock Lesnar. He come back. Woman will apply. He saw a goat.
So Jade Cargill sucked. Ember Moon's back, and you know what? Considering that they're getting like, here's the thing: if there's one thing I'm not opposed to, is that AEW needs a better women's division. If they're getting experienced and great wrestlers for their women's division, I don't have a problem. But then because their whole division is simply relying on Britt Baker, we'll get to the Britt Baker shit. With more experienced wrestlers, I'm with like Serena Deeb, Ruby Soho, even Britt Baker to some degree,
Or that, or that mean gore.
like Ember Moon and who's the other girl, the Tony Storm. If you're doing something with them, like you better feature them better. I hope like if Ember Moon's in AEW, she should be treated better. But I know AEW, they're going to push Ember Moon by the time she's at her most coolest. But
They got had her Lou.
they're going to like, yeah, they did the same thing with Tony Storm. She lost. She had her first loss in free TV. And you're wondering why that needed to happen in the first place. But anyways, so I just want to emphasize this: Jade Cargill had an interference because this is going to be a theme for 3 straight matches. What's the other match after the Jade Cargill? Yeah, Death Triangle versus House of Black. It House of Black had a face paint. Everyone was wearing a face paint.
It looks stupid.
Yeah, but and to be fair, they got the people cheering and shit after the whole Jade Cargill stuff, but it's again one of those Young Bucks matches, but in a 3-way, where everyone's doing everything. And Malachi Black, oh boy, he last year, I think not too long ago, he showed up and it was such a big deal because he left AEW, like he left WWE and came to AEW immediately, not even long time. And everyone, he was cool throughout 2021, one of the best things in 2021 of AEW. Even before the Punks and Bryans and Coles and MJF. Sorry, MJF was still, he was in the Jericho feud. He was one of the best things in AEW. He was cool. Everyone loved him. He was over as hell. Then he lost to Cody. He has never been the same again.
Yeah.
He's creating House of Black where he's with Brody King, and then he's relegated to a tag team match. Then he got Buddy Matthews in, Buddy Murphy in. And now he's in this weird feud with Death Triangle that lasted for months, but it feels like years. And it's benefiting no one. House of Black is the coolest they've ever been. And same goes for Death Triangle. And whatever entry Malachi Black or Aleister Black had, or Tommy End had, it's gone now because nobody gives a flying fuck about this guy.
Yeah.
But it was a bright idea to have another one of those 6-man tag matches or trios matches in a pay-per-view right after the Young Bucks and Hardy match. Not right after, but you already saw that match once. They're doing the Lucha Brothers Young Bucks shit, and they're done. Like the whole match was about to over with Pac about to perform the Red Arrow or Black Arrow. Then Julia Hart showed up, and for anyone who doesn't know, she's one of the Brian Pillman's group. His group and Griff Garrison's. He's Griff Garrison's sister, I believe. So her story is Malachi Black blew a mist at her face, missed it, but she sold it like he actually hit her in the eye, and that mist is corrupting her. And finally, it had its big payoff, which Julia Hart is now a part of the House of Black with the whole face paint on her eye. And she blew a mist at Pac, which burned his eyes, and Malachi hit him with his reverse roundhouse kick. I don't know the exact move.
Fade Black.
Huh? Fade to Black. Sorry. Thank you. I forgot that name. Fade to Black. He hit Pac with the Fade to Black, and the match was over. So Julie Hart is a part of the House of Black. Yeah. I'm wondering if the mist can corrupt people, why isn't it corrupting Pac? He got missed so much, he got blinded at one point for weeks, and he got missed again. You would think he should be a part of the group, but no. Yeah, well.
That's so stupid. You telling me Aleister Black I don't take your power now. I saying Aleister got Alan Taker power now.
They're booking him like Undertaker. Like they saw like Malachi, like Aleister Black in NXT, and they were like, you know what? We should have a match between Undertaker and him because they're both dark, broody characters, and he just took it on a little level. I want to get to it. Go ahead.
But Aleister's a badass. He don't got power.
He's a Muay Thai fighter he's like one of the best strikers he's one of the best strikers. He's a great wrestler in his own right. But when he do this hokey shit, it's ridiculous. And then he's having like he's doing more damage to himself, not only with the hokey shit and the myth, but also having a literal stable.
Yeah.
He used to be cool, and now he's in the same level as Pac, sadly. And I don't know why bother.
You don't see Ed make a Drew called Doom Day. You don't see him doing magic shit.
And again, in WWE, it's kind of okay. Like, there's a reason I can forgive Bray Wyatt in WWE. Because it's sports entertainment. It was built on shit where a guy can disappear, get his body burned multiple times, but comes back to life. The whole character of Kane. If Edge decides to do all the hokey shit, it would be completely fine. Because it's a company that's not focused on realistic wrestling. In a company that wants to make the wrestling sports-like and sports-based presentation, and you doing the hokey shit, why can't this just be in WWE?
Yeah, that's.
I was completely high on Malachi Black for the long time, and Malachi Black is the sole reason why I'm not high on him anymore. He was much better off. I think he never recovered from that Cody loss. It's like I have a feeling in a few years he is going to be featured better and he is going to be a world champion and he's going to drop the hokey stuff, whatever, but I don't know. Moving on. Again, second interference. This is the second straight interference, by the way. You saw 4 or 5 people interfering on Jade Cargill's behalf the first time. Now you're seeing it for the second time straight, and it's Julia Hart. I don't know if it's a problem with formatting the show, but 2 straight interferences is not really a good thing. But it gets worse. Moving on, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has had the right now, even though it's too soon to say it, he's having a best run in AEW. Adam Cole is kind of fucked in the situation. He didn't have the best debut in AEW, considering he's one of the biggest signings at that time. He lost to Orange Cassidy. He lost twice to Hangman. Now he's in an Owen Hart tribute, where he's picking up wins, but he's at his most coolest. Before I get to that, I need to say something, because this is the one point where I kind of disagree with Jim and Brian. So this thing about Adam Cole, about how he's small and he's not building up body muscles and whatever. Brian Last was calling Adam Cole a cosplay wrestler and was saying shit like he's the smallest wrestler in AEW, not named Rio. Adam Cole was always small, and it benefited his style of wrestling because he's not a powerhouse, and he's not a powerhouse. He's one of those smart wrestlers.
Yeah.
One with a high ring IQ, like CM Punk-esque kind of wrestler. For him to when you claim he's a cosplay wrestler, his whole smaller stature actually benefits how he wrestles. He's a weasel. Why? Yeah, maybe he should take some time off and be a bit more jacked. But fucking calling him a cosplay wrestler, you've already seen Darby Allin. He was saying he was smaller than his girlfriend, but then I saw that Adam Cole is actually a bit taller, or slightly. And who gives a shit? Adam Cole does not wrestle like a powerhouse. He wrestles like a weasel.
He went to a cruiserweight.
Yeah, and and it puts him at a situation where if he's facing people bigger than him, he's going to take advantage of his surroundings or situation or make plans. But here's the thing, there are several problems with Adam Cole in AEW. He's been cooled down. He lost to Hangman Page twice. He got buried with Orange Cassidy.
Yep.
And being paid with Young Bucks is doing more damage to him. He's no longer his NXT self or even his ROH self, but calling this guy a cosplay wrestler, there are way more issues than Adam Cole being besides Adam Cole's looks. And every time they talk about Adam Cole and his looks, I fucking groan. Because for guys who some of them who knew Adam Cole, they clearly don't understand him now. And I'm not going to be an Adam Cole expert, but I can tell the way he dresses and the way he looks. And there's a major problem with Adam Cole, and maybe he was not the right guy to win the tournament, but fucking give this guy a break. What do you want him to do? But yeah, it was him, and Adam Cole was wearing pink, and Samoa Joe, people literally wanted Joe to fuck this guy up. And the match could have been like, here's the thing, I like this match because it's Adam Cole and Samoa Joe. They're both good wrestlers and they both were doing what they needed to do. But I feel like it could have gotten better. I think after the whole Death Triangle shit, they needed to have a toilet break match.
Yeah.
Or maybe remove the Death Triangle match already because the whole feud died down. But people were not completely, people were burned out from that match, and it kind of killed the whole match already. Not to mention, they were not it felt like they were having a toilet break match themselves. And it's Adam Cole and Samoa Joe, and it's the finals of the Owen Hart tournament.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have gotten better, but it didn't. And then they had another interference, but this time it wasn't from Jay Lethal, someone Samoa Joe was feuding with. It was from Bobby Fish. Bobby fucking Fish. Why a guy, granted, even if he's a part of Adam Cole's friend, why is he significant in having Samoa Joe lose over someone who's actually feuding with Samoa Joe?
That shot made Joe. That one interference made Joe lose.
Well, he had an injured arm because Jay Lethal injured it, but yeah, it's same thing. Shouldn't Jay Lethal has been feuding with this guy, but he has not done anything to hinder. He's not interfered in any of the Samoa Joe matches. He does it after Samoa Joe is done. And if you're going to have Samoa Joe be screwed over, actually add heat to the feud between Lethal and Joe, because it makes no sense that Bobby Fish is significant.
Yeah.
And again, space out the interference. This is the third straight interference. Third straight interference. Adam Cole won, and here's the thing, I don't have a problem with Adam Cole winning, but at the spot where Adam Cole is and at the spot Joe is, Joe should have been the one to go over. So we could have probably seen the Punk versus Joe feud, but I guess you won't see it anytime soon.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole is alright. I feel like out of everything you have him go through with the Orange Cassidy and 2 straight clean losses to Hangman, at the very least, I'm fine with it, simply because Adam Cole deserves that much. What's the point of make a big deal out of his signing and he's getting buried? That's counterproductive to what you want to present Adam Cole as.
Yeah, you got buried.
At least he won the tournament.
Hey, where he go off into?
Yeah, his girlfriend. So Ruby Sohan and Britt Baker faced each other. The match was fine.
Yeah. The storytelling right there, God shit. You make you think Ruby got winner.
And she lost before to Britt Baker, and this is another problem. The match was fine. Ruby Soho is great and Britt Baker is good when she needs to be, but she has the problem of the Young Bucks where she has to do everything, and they ended in a way which the whole match between Ruby and Britt ended in a way where it was an Owen Hart callback, which was nice. It's a nice touch, especially in an Owen Hart tournament, but it says something this is your big tournament, right? You're paying your tribute to Owen Hart, and both of these matches were, I've never felt like it was a big thing until the Martha speech happened. So I hope they do better sometimes. But anyways, it creates another problem. I have a problem with how Charlotte Flair is used in WWE, where every year she has to have the women's championship or whatever. And like, granted, she's great and maybe she deserves it, but there's a major problem with WWE in terms of how they want to build Charlotte versus how they want to build the other women. And sometimes Charlotte winning a championship actually hinders the other woman. Rhea Ripley, for a good example. And if we're being honest, they've but here's if we're being honest, Charlotte's players, even though her being used in a way she is a problem, but they're doing it in a division that can boast the 4 horsewomen, and one of them is like a bigger star than Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. They have Ronda Rousey, and Bailey and Sasha Banks were used consistently well, and then they're focusing on Bianca Belair. So they're doing it in a division where women's division is emphasized, and they're doing it in a division where there are more people you can pluck from. In AEW, there is no women's division, like in the women division, that has never reached the next level, where you have guys like Anna Jay, even fucking Jade Cargill, who's used in toilet break matches and not that good and overrated. In a division where you're focusing on Britt Baker, and it's not a strong division because nobody gives a flying fuck about Hikaru Shida or Riho. People have yet to care about Chris Statlander. Anna Jay is at a lower level. It says something about your division, like when you're not focusing on the division but more on Britt Baker. Granted, Britt Baker is good. I would even go as far to say out of everyone in the women's division, she had the best title reign. But there are certain times where you have to be like, she already had her spot. She doesn't have to win this tournament. She doesn't have to go over someone like Tony Storm, someone you were like one of your big signings, and someone you actually need for your women's division. It says something when Britt Baker's the one going over and won the entire tournament. What's the point of her? Like, if there's one silver lining, I felt like Ruby Soho is going to go over, but no. So Ruby Soho needed that win because she's at a point where she could get buried at any point as an attraction. What's the difference between Ruby Soho and Ruby Riott? They're both used at a lower level. Ruby Soho was not even featured for a long time. She was not even seen. She lost her women's championship match to Britt Baker. Then she lost the entire tournament to Jade Cargill. Now she's losing again in a big match, once again for the 3rd time, and this time cleanly. Why? If just because you wanted to have a whole couple session between 2 couples winning the Owen Hart tournament? I can kind of forgive Adam Cole winning the Owen Hart tournament. Britt Baker, I can never forgive. Simply because you don't have a women's division strong enough where you can emphasize one person. WWE is focusing ridiculously on Charlotte Flair, like she's Roman Reigns of 2016, but at the very least, they have a strong division to boot. If you don't want to see Charlotte Flair, you can saw a different band with an equally strong division. AEW doesn't have that. So for them to focus on Charlotte Flair, for them to focus this much on Britt Baker, you can easily give that time to other people. You can give this time to Ruby Soho. Why? What's the point of having her lose? Britt Baker is going to be Britt. If you're so fucking worried about cooling down Britt Baker, fucking give her the TBS championship. Have her beat Jade Cargill. You don't have to bury Ruby Soho. And maybe it's higher time for AEW to focus on other people. Give the same amount of love they've given Britt Baker and build someone else. Now they have fucking Tony Storm and Ember Moon. And Ruby Soho is there, and Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. They could benefit from the amount of attention they're giving Britt Baker. And there's nothing against Britt Baker. She's good, but she's going towards the Charlotte Flair territory for me. And it's even more egregious because the women's division is weak as hell. Nobody's focused on building the women's division. So, Britt Baker won, although in an Owen Hart-like way, which was a nice touch. I wish Wolf is here. So I want to hear Wolf's thought on the whole Britt Baker stuff. If you're going to have Ruby Soho lose, at least give her an out. Have her be screwed over instead of losing cleanly. Granted, it's the fourth consecutive interference, but again, space out your show. Remove some of these matches. I'm pretty sure everyone would have been fine with Death Triangle and House of Black not being in a pay-per-view. What do I know? Wolf, you there? Anyway, so Britt Baker and Adam Cole were standing to get their trophies, and then there's Mata Hart. And granted, even if she's reading from the script, if there's one silver lining out of this tournament, is that Owen Hart is getting his rightful recognition. He died, like his whole death was tragic. It could have been prevented. Even though they botched that entire tournament, at least that just gives, like, the whole silver lining is there's a chance that they could improve upon this and learn from the mistakes. And the other thing is that just puts Owen Hart at another level because there's a whole tournament based on him. And I actually like the fact that he's used, like, I actually like the fact that he's recognized more. He could never go into the Hall of Fame for rightful reason, but I always felt like he never gets the recognition he deserves. He's one of the best wrestlers and like someone loved by everyone, from the wrestlers in the company and his family. And he died he died in a way which could have been prevented. And he never really got to the main event which he deserved. So with AEW existing, you actually see Owen Hart getting mentioned again. And now there's a whole tournament based on his name. So, and I actually like the fact that Martha actually gave AEW a chance and had them promote Owen. And it I actually like it, I feel like Owen Hart should have. I actually like there's a good, at least this tournament as a whole is a good thing. Even if the first one was bungled badly, I just hope they do better this time. I would have had no problem if Dax or Cash were in the tournament, win the finals, and had the Bret Hart Owen Hart kind of match, because they love the Hart family and they were emulating this style. But Adam Cole is not a bad winner. It like Britt Baker is also not a bad winner, but the only problem is she's at a division. Like she's at a point where she can have someone else go over. But my whole Martha Hart speech and everyone like giving a positive reception to her was kind of nice. And the belts look beautiful. Like both of those belts look beautiful, and I guess if you wear pink, that means you're winning.
How bad?
What you do? Okay. I've talked about how Britt Baker is overpushed at a division where, like, I just want to listen to your thoughts.
She kind of a little bit, but that EWO fall, they did have no woman go against her. It's their fault. They'll build a vision around her, like a woman. As I say, a woman had nobody to fight against her. I didn't agree with that. They got a lot of people fight women. They didn't build a vision against women. It like a woman thing. Who got fight woman? Basically, who got fight? Why was she? A lot of short picture her win. Willie, she sell tissue? Sell tissue? No. Matt Fraser herself a lot of tissue more Wolvie.
But it's like the difference between, like, I was like saying that she's in the Charlotte Flair territory. Charlotte Flair is at the exact same position where the whole division is built around her, and she's getting way more wins than she needs to. But she's in a division where there are other women to boot. The women's division is strong as it is, right? Like because if it's not Charlotte Flair, it's Becky Lynch. They have Ronda Rousey back. There's Bianca Belair. There's Asuka. AEW, on the other hand, doesn't have a strong division. So having Britt Baker go over everyone when you have the likes of Ruby Soho and like Toni Storm and now Ember Moon, maybe it's not a bright idea for Britt. Like Britt Baker doesn't have to win everything. She can, if you don't want her to cool down, you can just give her the TBS championship and add more prestige to that. But
exactly,
like AEW is not at a point where they can focus on one person and it would be fine and dandy. Not to mention, there are two top women's championship in WWE. So if one goes to Charlotte Flair, it doesn't mean she's number one.
Exactly.
But what do you think about the whole, like, what do you think about the whole tournament of Woven Art?
I think it was not separate our heart. Hell, some of the matches was extreme wool, not technician. That's not what Owen Hart thing. I thought Owen Hart talking about wrestling, not extreme wool shit.
Owen Hart is not known for having no DQ matches or having high risk. Like, he was legit scared when he had to have those like ropes attached to him, and he's like 20 feet or 20 feet high, and that is what got him killed. And it's not a bright idea for having one of those matches with one guy falling off from 20 feet.
Yeah,
but
the tournament was not this not for OR. This just for EW Hahine in it.
I would say that having a tournament under his name is a nice touch, and Britt Baker winning in an Owen Hart like way was a nice touch too. But the whole tournament could be a lot better. I'm not opposed to another Owen Hart tournament if there's like, I just hope it's done better next time. And just the idea of Owen Hart being mentioned and having a tournament under his name is like a nice thing. They even have belts for under Owen Hart's name. So I just wish they do better next time. I'm not opposed to more Owen Hart tournaments, but be a bit more.
Assistant.
Yeah, like Owen Hart is known for his technical wrestling, and they had a technical wrestling match between both of the guys from FTR, Dax and Cash. And they had a match that would actually celebrate Owen Hart wrestling. It was more of a Owen Hart or Bret Hart tribute match. And that's what a lot of those matches need to be. Not a fucking death-defying no DQ match.
Yeah.
I'm like, people say that Owen Hart is not known for his contribution to women's wrestling, but at the same time, I feel like if one of the man is getting, like, I don't think it should just be a men exclusive tournament. Even if the guy is not known for his contribution to women's wrestling, I think both male and female look up to Owen Hart, and they both should have the honor of competing in a tournament under his name.
Yeah.
But it needs to be not a joke match or a no DQ match, but a technical match.
Yeah.
Look at Cruiserweight Classic. Like from 2016, none of those matches had a no DQ in them. They all compete in a certain set of rules, and this one could be too. But
how I let that slide. What Mick Foley treated well. Mick Foley died. Oh, they actually ruled the Mick Foley tournament. They for him.
exactly, like again, but it like I just hope they do better next time. I'm not opposed to another open tournament. Anyways, moving on. Do you want to like add something else, or you want to move on?
Nah.
Okay, so what's the other match? Because I think we're running out of them. When did the Sammy Guevara match happen?
I think Astronaut match. No. Yeah. That match.
Let me see. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
I switched to a different tab. Okay. AEW Double or Nothing. Result. Okay. You know, at one point I was like, I don't know if it was like around Revolution, where I said Dan Lambert needs to go, and his whole American top team and Scorpio Sky being the TNT champion is so fucking stupid. Like, maybe I haven't said that, so I'll say it right now. Scorpio Sky is the worst choice for the TNT championship.
Sure, I keep getting about he is it's a black. That's that black guy. He about head.
I'm kind of convinced he won the TNT championship because AEW needed to give it to a black guy. But Scorpio Sky, he's one of the I would have not mind if you want to have a black guy win a TNT championship, maybe have Keith Lee win the ladder match and have him win the TNT championship. But Scorpio Sky, he's not he's not interesting. He's the most uninteresting champion in AEW right now. Not named Hangman Page. And the whole feud between Sammy Guevara, it started from 2021. It's going on in 2022. Imagine that. And now it's at a point where people are booing Sammy Guevara simply for having a girlfriend. I don't understand the whole hate, but I don't like Sammy Guevara. So fuck him. He's the most unlikable guy. He's the most unlikable guy even before they did the whole girl thing. So Sammy Guevara and Frankie Kazarian and his girlfriend are facing against the American top team. One of them is Paige Van Zandt. The other is Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. This is the worst. I can't say if this is okay, I'll say this right now.
The worst match.
This is the worst match. This is like the most mindfuck I've ever seen. Because you have a heel team on one side, but on the other hand, you have a babyface team where two guys are treated as heels and were acting like heels, and one of them is a babyface. And if Frankie Kazarian doesn't like Sammy Guevara, you're like, why is he teaming up with him in the first place? Because he's literally ditched Sammy Guevara and Taya Conte to get beaten up, only to come back once again to beat Ethan Page and Scorpio. So I feel like, why was he? If he wanted to fuck over Sammy Guevara, why would you want to be? What? What? What is this? Anyways, so and like, if Frankie Kazarian wanted to fuck over Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti, his own teammate, why did he go back again to beat up Scorpio Sky? Why does he need to take the loss then? Why does he need to take the pin then? Have him just walk out.
Wait, what the fuck? And why do taxing again?
Who? Sammy and Frankie?
Yeah.
They hate Scorpio Sky.
That's stupid. That fuck is stupid.
And they don't like each other. And one of them's a heel. So I don't know why Frankie was teaming up again. And not only is this like a team of like the most uninteresting guys ever. Frankie Kazarian is cool. I don't hate him, but he's at his most least interesting point. Scorpio Sky, I've already said my piece about him. He doesn't deserve the TNT championship unless they treat him better first. Sammy Guevara isn't likable. I don't have an opinion on Ethan Page. I haven't seen much of him, but I say that he's the best part of this match because he's actually the most impressive. Taya Conti is Taya Conti. There are things she does good and then I just don't like her. They're trying to build Paige Van Zandt as the next Ronda Rousey. But they kind of failed on that regard.
Yeah. Oh, that why they feel like she feel like a bootleg lively.
Like she's a mixed martial artist and the whole American top team is like a mixed martial artist team. They had way more guys. One of them is like Junior Dos Santos, who's like a legit mixed martial artist. I think Paige Van Zandt is a UFC champion because I saw Dan Lambert holding a UFC championship. I'm not sure. But it's still like they failed if they want to build Paige Van Zandt as the next round. Is AEW's answer to Ronda Rousey. This is the worst match.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't even. Mhm.
I don't want to talk about the match. I hate the match.
And I will never forgive them for killing off the actually good match. Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin.
Yeah, that a good match. That a good match.
Like I could have like here's the thing. I thought it was dead, but they were like kind of reacting to some of the stuff of Darby Allin and shit. But I still will go that this match could have been way hotter if that match didn't happen. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm like wondering to myself why couldn't a lot of these matches happen before the pay per view, either in Bayern or Dynamite. Why is Sammy Guevara need to be in a pay per view when he's done nothing to deserve such a treatment? And if you're going to put Sammy Guevara, at least put the TNT Championship on the line. But no, they just want to have their garbage match. But
Yeah.
like, but I want to get to the Kyle O'Reilly Darby Allin. But even though the crowd was dead, Darby and Kyle O'Reilly tried really hard, and they had like some of the best counters to everything.
Yeah.
I love Kyle O'Reilly.
Me too.
It's a shame the way he's used in AEW. I would have gone for him as a tag team champion, but they're giving him some kind of respect as a singles competitor. I don't know if I feel like Darby Allin should be the one to go over, simply because he was hot during 2021. He's a former TNT champion. Kyle O'Reilly mostly is a tag team guy, but whatever.
Well, he had 5-star matches with Finn Balor.
Yeah, and like I know, I'm just like saying that if you're building someone up, maybe have Darby go over, but I guess it's a fine result. I don't have a problem. There is one time where when Darby was like performing a dive, and like one of his foot caught the rope and he just like fell on his head.
Yeah.
That was a scary spot, but
Yeah.
thankfully nothing happened. There's like another. He did the suicide dive again, but this time he was caught in a guillotine choke, which was like a nice reversal.
Yeah, Night Versa.
And Darby did everything he could to revive the crowd, but they were just spent. So, but you know what? They had a nice match, and Kylie won. I like. It's a bit of a strange opinion, but I actually like the diving knee as the finisher.
Me too.
It looked believable.
Yeah. Me too. It looked necessary.
After like a long series, this was like a great match.
And
It's just a shame this happened during a dead crowd moment.
yeah. It's damn shame. Both men, what you tell both men try to put we a crowd back alive.
Moving on, we had the women's championship match
I didn't
between
watch it.
Thunder Rosa. I watched it simply because I like both of these people. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb are great wrestlers in their own right. And like the feud didn't do anything to sell you, but they were just depending on both of them being great wrestlers to hook you in. And it was a great match. I don't know if it's a bit of a, I would going to say up to this point, this is the best match of the night. Up to this point. They both locked up. They were having more of an Owen Hart match than Ruby Sohan and Britt Baker. They were locking up. They were having a technical match. They were countering each other's submission hold. They were doing whatever they can, like slipping up and like countering someone's hold, performing like countering someone's submission. They were like both of these people felt like they were out there to out wrestle each other. It felt like a contest.
Well, they got more. That's sad. A tournament, dude. They kept that. The two women kept it. Oh, shit. Well, that more
And
sad.
people were behind Thunder Rosa, but and Serena Deep's cool too. But like that is like the thing is, if if the feud actually did like if the booking actually supported this like the match like if they actually had like if the build up was great, this would have been one of the best matches ever. And the crowd would have been way more behind, but they're behind Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deep are amazing. They were it felt like two women having a women's championship match. Like you can like look at this match and say women's championship, like women's division in AEW is amazing. Because at the moment they have Serena Deeb, Britt Baker, and Thunder Rosa, and Tony Storm and whatever. But you've seen so many garbage women matches, you like why bother? But
Yeah.
I like this. I actually love this match. I actually like the whole Serena Deeb being like a female Dean Malenko, and Thunder Rosa is like amazing in her own right. She's more of a Bret Hart kind of person, someone who can't talk but someone can out wrestle. And I don't know what's the deal with her face paint. Like she's Jeff Hardy, but at least I can forgive that. She's a great wrestler.
I think her Spanish.
Do Spanish people have a face paint on half of their face?
I think it. Down and Dead. I think he's. I don't know. I think it's Down and Dead. Some shit. I don't know.
But they had like if this match happens again, I wouldn't mind. I just hope it has a better build up next time. But the best match up to this point. And this had to be what it needed to be. A technical masterpiece between two technically gifted wrestlers. I think the next match is
A known tag team match.
Jericho Appreciation Society and Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson and John Moxley's group and Eddie Kingston's group, which consists of.
I did watch it.
I didn't watch it out of principle either. I've said this before. Jericho, I would not watch anything Jericho related until he puts out a good program or puts as a singles match with a great wrestler. Other than that, I'm not watching any of the Jericho shit. And you know what? I actually feel kind of bummed because during the pre-show, they were showing a promo, like Eddie Kingston was cutting a promo. He's talking about being put in a dark place, and it's not like, oh, I'm going to drink your blood, or I'm going to strangle your throat and whatever. It's more like, wait a minute.
I saw the promo. I saw it. It was good.
It was a great promo, and it's more like you're fucking up with my mental health. I want to kill you. You're making me drink. And I'm at a place where I don't want to talk to anyone. Eddie Kingston is a believable guy. You know what? He even if he's not at the level of Stone Cold Steve Austin, he actually gives me that vibe. He can make you believe in whatever he's saying.
Yeah, make me lead. Make me wonder. Did Will maybe Lee. They didn't someone come film him. He was not on straight. Was in a hospital. He not not. No, he not filming.
Sorry, what?
Maybe I said made me wonder. Did he really say this shit? Will he got killed? Jericho?
I feel like they did this in one take because I don't know if he broke enough whiskey bottles, but he was having whiskey, he was drinking it, and he was like upset about it because I think he's like a recovering alcoholic or something. And he's crying, and it's like 3 stages of anger or grief over and over. It's anger, sadness, and concern. And if you just watch that and report with any other match with Jericho, if it was a singles match with Jericho, that would have been fine. But no, Jericho, like these, and you know what? I'll even say this right now. Bryan Danielson is like one of my favorite wrestlers. He's like one of my top 5 or something. I like John Moxley. I love Eddie Kingston. And they still made me not want to watch this match. And I blame Jericho. I blame Jericho. And even though it could have been worse, it could have been like a stadium stampede match, I would have not watched that match simply out of principle because it's with Jericho and this entire shitty, stupid group. I cannot tell you just how much I hate Chris Jericho and how much I want him gone.
I hate Jericho. Two reasons. He a COVID thing, and he tell white fan he had no soul. He a fucking cunt.
I would not mind those comments if this guy was actually a productive member. He's not. He's done so. I actually like Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston match, and I felt like Chris Jericho was being how he's supposed to be treating this entire thing. Like this is he's not treating this in any serious way whatsoever. He came out dressed off some kind of clown, like he's a sports entertainer. You're literally having a match where people are trying to kill you, and that's the idea you're selling. That's the idea Eddie Kingston was selling in his promo, and you still dressed up like a clown and having this clownish thing going on. Why is this guy still in AEW? You have your Punks and Bryans and even people you can build upon, but fucking Jericho, he's holding like he can go away and AEW would improve 50 times already.
Yeah.
He's the only guy, and even if he's not the only guy, he's the guy who's holding down AEW the most. I'm not even going to blame the House of Blacks or even the Young Bucks. I'm going to blame him. He's the one with the sports entertainment garbage. Young Bucks are not doing the sports entertainment shit. They're doing their own shit that they've been doing for years. This guy is trying to make a WWE light out of AEW.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah. Only him sure I did make that sports entertainment bullshit. It's strange. I don't know what the fuck happened to him. He was good. He YEW. He was speaking sand. After a couple year past, he lost his damn mind.
Remember when everyone was like talking about how many brilliant ideas Jericho has? Now you're
Yeah.
seeing Jericho at his absolute. Now you're seeing Jericho with all his ideas in. And if he went to WWE and got buried, I would have actually been the most happy. In fact, I hate this guy so much. I think his best run came when he was being a part timer and showing up to lose.
I did, well, he did got buried by Dolph Ziggler.
I would watch that match between him and Fandango just to see Jericho lose.
Yeah. No, I gotta watch that match. He get your ass kicked by Dolph Ziggler million times over. I gotta keep
Yeah,
watching it.
he's. I've never seen someone who would want me to not watch Eddie Kingston. I've never seen someone who would make me not want to see a match that involved Bryan Danielson, John Moxley, and Eddie Kingston. Even the LAX are kind of nice, but and I'm not going to talk about how this match happened. I remember like Eddie Kingston trying to burn Jericho alive by putting gasoline, but he also put it on Bryan Danielson. So Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston had a fight amongst themselves. And you would think Bryan Danielson would just walk off after beating the shit out of Bryan. Like, you would think that like Jericho would just let Bryan Danielson fight the guy he hates the most. But no, he has to be the one to beat Bryan Danielson. Why does Bryan Danielson have to be the one to take the fall? You have the LAX guys. Why couldn't one of them be the one to take the fall?
Yeah. My God.
I don't know if I want to say Bryan Danielson's getting buried, but he's seriously fallen far off ever since he decided to have a group with. He's not speaking. Yeah, like he's not speaking. He's one of the best promos in AEW. He's not speaking anymore. He's in a background, taking the backseat behind John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta. And he's the one taking the pin. Or he's the one taking the fall for the team to lose. And what kind of for all the political shit I'm accusing Young Bucks of doing, Jericho's doing the same shit. Remember how everyone said how he puts over guys? He's not putting anyone over. Like, he lost to Eddie Kingston. That feud should have ended with Eddie Kingston being triumphant, but Jericho had to turn heel. He had to have the last laugh. He's now doing the same shit. Like, this whole feud should have been over, but it's the Jericho screw that ended up winning. And it's done with a team with a faction that you're building up as a bunch of badasses. And the other team which has one of the most over guys in AEW. Fuck Chris Jericho. Fuck Chris Jericho. Fucking retire. Go away. Tony Khan fire this guy. And pay MJF more than Chris Jericho. This is the stupidest. No, everyone wanted to see Eddie Kingston kill fucking Chris Jericho. But Chris Jericho had to be Chris Jericho. He can't get over his ways. I don't care what he says outside of AEW. He's the most unlikable guy I've ever seen. As a babyface or a heel. Fucking retired. You're not contributing anything new. You're not even needed anymore. In 2019 or 2020, maybe 2021, after Punk and Bryan, you get the fuck out of here. Fucking retired to your shitty band or music.
But Master, it lost young child out late off too. Make me more famous. That's why I don't retire.
Get his sports entertainment bullshit out of here. You would think a guy who's been wrestling in the 90s and was there at a high level, faced guys at a high level, you would think he would be the one smart enough to be the guy to like teach these people and help them go over. And it says something when CM fucking Punk, who came from the same independent shows that had matches like, I don't know, death matches and fucking like a guy who had these garbage matches came to WWE at the time WWE is at its least popular. He's the one who learned most from the guys who are not teaching him anything.
Yeah. 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 He won. Yeah. He won. Act like a official, not like a garbage idiot.
Out of every ex-WWE guy, maybe besides Bryan Danielson, because the whole group with him and John Moxley
Wait, what about
was
Mark
John
Henry?
Moxley's idea. Huh?
What about Mark Henry?
Mark Henry?
Yeah.
He's a backstage guy, so I don't know if he's presenting any good ideas, but I'm saying like from a quality control standpoint,
I heard he.
a gu- hmm?
I think Mark Henry give people ideas too. My mind.
Oh, but like I was saying that out of all the guys who left WWE, had every reason to not like WWE, and once they have the ball to prove, once they have the choose, once they have a chance to prove that their ideas worked and WWE's ideas didn't, CM Punk is the only one I've seen who actually has great ideas, and maybe he's the one in the right. And that's simply because everything he's doing in AEW, more on him later, everything he's doing in AEW has been great.
Yeah.
He's he's
And
keeping this.
and he on and he not bitch about AEW either. Usually, the person CM Punk got screwed by WWE, but he not bitch about WWE. And
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 he,
at WWE guy bitch about WWE. He not do that.
and he's the one who has the most deserving. He's the guy who deserves to shit on WWE the most, because this is the company that nearly killed him, burned out his love for professional wrestling, and made him hate professional wrestling, and then fired him on his wedding day. Chris Jericho, but that's what I'm saying. Out of every one of these guys, whether it's Aleister Black or Jericho, or I'm not counting Bryan Danielson simply because Bryan Danielson loved WWE and he was very fair. He never shits out on WWE ever. He even started.
He pointed. He said I let them be a good turn. I not got shit on them.
He's not even doing his yes stand out of respect. But that's what I'm saying. Bryan Danielson just wants to come here and wants to wrestle. But when the whole Blackpool Combat Club is not even his idea. It's John Moxley. But out of everyone in WWE, out of every ex-WWE guy who said my way is the right way, and then you see it, CM Punk is the only one with some legitimacy. Chris Jericho, I feel like he should go back to WWE and get buried. Vince should be the one to slap him for every of his stupid ideas. Same goes for Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy should just retire. He's not even presenting stupid ideas, it's just that he shouldn't wrestle.
About John Moxley.
John Moxley is a bit of a weird case because I don't like the fact that he's like one of those guys who should be in the singles. And some of the matches he has is like one of those death matches and whatever. I think that some of them are garbage. His opinion on Nick Cage is ridiculous.
Wait,
But
Wait, what he
Like
said?
like Vince McMahon would kill to have someone like Nick Gage in his company, and Nick Gage is the second coming of Jesus. He's acting. He's all over Nick Gage, but
Nick Cage? Yeah,
Nick Gage.
no, McMahon says so. I don't give a shit about a body. He had an interview about that. I don't give a shit about a body. Long you wato.
But like again, like Moxley has good ideas, and he has good ideas for himself. He just has bad ideas for others.
Yeah.
So if that is the thing, then I'll put him. But Punk, Brian,
That why I say Moxley didn't loan a WWE. He didn't loan there.
but yeah, like out of everyone who had a legitimate gripe of AEW, and when they had the chance to show that they're right and AEW, like WWE is wrong, CM Punk is the only one with legitimacy. I fucking hate Chris Jericho. He's one of the most hated guys in AEW right now. I hate him more than I hate Vince McMahon.
I don't hate McMahon. I think he's fun.
I don't like Vince McMahon, but
I understandable. You think he's stupid? He kind of not. Yeah, he make dumb but mistake, but he more fun than Tony Khan.
I think he's a better businessman than Tony Khan, but booking is a different subject. But
I trust him. I trust both teams stand over Tony Khan.
But like again, like regardless of that opinion, I hate Vince McMahon, but I hate Chris Jericho more. And maybe everything that happened to Chris Jericho, of all the grievances he has, I think WWE was completely in the right. He was the same guy who said Ryback should be the one to end Undertaker's streak.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Fuck Chris Jericho. Fucking retire. I want him retire more than I want the Hardys retire. And I love the Hardys. With that out of the way, this pay-per-view will not end. They had the Jungle Friends. I know they go by Jurassic Express, but I'm just going to call them Jungle Friends. But Jungle Friends had a match with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland and the Ricky Starks and Hobbs team tag.
I didn't watch the match. I like I said, I did a tag team. I saw all the tag team matches. I got stiffed them. I stiffed this tag team match.
You know, I like Keith Lee, and I said this before. I'm kind of Swerve is growing on me. I don't know if I like him right now, but I don't find anything bad about him to complain about. I love Starks and I like Hobbs. Jungle Boy has some potential, but I don't know if he's ever going to go anywhere. Luchasaurus is Luchasaurus. I don't like him.
The guy with a dinosaur match.
He's the dinosaur. Dino douche, as Jim Cornette says it. But here's a problem. Jungle Boy and like FTR, the number one tag team, like, you know, in a company where wins and losses matter and the rankings matter, the number one tag team is not in the pay-per-view challenging for the AEW Tag Team Championship, but you have to see another three-way between fucking the Jungle Friend, Starks and Hobbs, who are not presented as a much of a tag team because, and then there's Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Both of those guys who I feel like could have done were much better off solo. And it's the same match that happened in the last pay per view. And they all wrestle like young bucks.
Yeah.
And I just, I know, Wolf, I know. Even I was like, fuck the Jungle Friend at this point. If you want to, if you want to build the Jungle Friends as a top tag team worthy of the tag team championship, this is not the way to do it. And there's a reason that you would like when Young Bucks had the tag team championship, they were booked in a more prominent role. Jungle Friends don't even feel like tag team champions. And at this point in time, you should have pulled the trigger on FTR. FTR should have been the one to face the Jungle Friends and win the tag team championship off of them. Because there's going to be a pay-per-view with FTR and the IWGP tag team champions. Hopefully for the both of the championship, the ROH championship and the IWGP tag team championship. You should also put the AEW tag team championship on the line and have FTR win.
Hopefully.
Like if FTR wins at a TV, it would be such a waste because this was something that should have been reserved for a pay-per-view. And if not, maybe just go with a single, like a 2-on-2 tag team match instead of a 3-way. It's the most stupidest thing, and like it's repetitive. You've already seen that in the last pay-per-view. And I like Starks and Hobbs, but Ricky Starks and Hobbs should have been like deserve better. They shouldn't be relegated to a tag team. Same goes for Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. And having like Jungle Friends retain. And this is why I'm like, instead of a 3-way, why don't you just have FTR and Jungle Friends? And that would have been a great match because of FTR. And Jungle Boy is good if he's being carried by better wrestlers.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go with FTR winning all the gold and doing this shit, especially when FTR is at their hottest and are the number one tag team, and imagine this: the top 5 tag team is having a tag team championship shot, or the top 2 or the top 3 tag team championship, like the tag team, like the top tag team, like. Oh my god. So Hobbs and Starks are like number 3. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland are number 5. And they both had this tag team title shot like sooner than FTR, the number 1 tag team. So Jungle Friends win. I hope FTR challenges them and wins the tag team championship. It just is stupid at this point not to pull the trigger on them. Like they're bound to be the 2-time tag team champions, but like Tony Khan is holding it off for some reason. You want to add something?
No. Okay.
So the main event, and this couldn't have come sooner. CM Punk versus Hangman Page. And I'll tell you, this was like the most unpredictable match I've ever seen. Because you don't know if Tony Khan is stupid enough to have Hangman Page go over yet another one of the top signings that he has. Not only that, but his highest paid guy in the company. Or be smart enough to pull the trigger of CM Punk while the rose is blooming.
Yeah, he did do it for JF. But this time he did it. He did it on CM Punk.
He did it with CM Punk, and it. Here's the thing: a lot of like I don't know if I like want to talk about the. I'll talk about the match first, and then I'll talk about people's complaints over CM Punk. So first thing first, this match was great.
Yeah.
I like their build up. I like the fact that Hangman Page is being more heelish in the feud, and they're going with the story of Punk not being the guy you think he is. I like, and but this was a feud carried mostly by CM Punk, and everyone's behind him.
Yeah.
And there's like a sentimental reason for why people love CM Punk. This is a guy you haven't seen for 7 years, and he comes back and he's like being one of the best parts of AEW, having quality control, helping younger guys like Wardlow, even MJF. For and they had, but and he, like here's the thing, and Hangman Page didn't have a great match after Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson did him a great favor, and after that, even with his match with Adam Cole, which I like, Hangman Page never outdid himself. I think Bryan Danielson did him a great favor, and he's still like one of the dullest world champion I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And in this match, like even though it's no Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page, it was still a great match. One of the best matches Hangman Page had in months. It was carried over by the crowd, and Punk having once again quality control and having a great psychology. Hangman Page is great when he's carried by better wrestlers. He's the same position as Jungle Boy.
Yeah. That kind of make it sad that Jumbo, him and Pat got carrying Matt by himself.
And the thing is, like, I'm not going to shit on Hangman Page because I said like how Hangman Page winning is the best thing I've seen in wrestling. One of the best long-term booking I've seen. But it also depends on how you book after how he's done. And here's the thing, I'm not going to blame Tony Khan for this, but I'll get to that later. But so Punk, if there's one mistake I've seen is that they did the thing of like each other stealing other people's finishers. Punk tried to do the buckshot lariat and he like stumbled and fumbled twice. And after the match, he made a joke of never performing the buckshot lariat again. But I don't think like buckshot lariat is like the most strangest finisher. I don't know how Hangman does it. It is impressive as well. He flips and he carries on that momentum to do a clothesline. And it's not a lot of people can do it so smoothly as Hangman. And maybe it's not something to replicate over and over unless you're really confident with yourself. Punk did it twice and he failed, and people let him know about it. Hangman did the go to sleep, and it was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And they didn't go over the top. It had to be what it needed to be. Hangman did the Roddy Piper thing, which was a nice touch. Like, he was already treading on the lines of being heelish and good, but he remained good in the end, which costed him, and Punk ends up winning. It was a great match.
Yeah.
I think after everything you've seen, this was definitely worth it. I'm mixed on if I would rank it higher than I would rank the Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb match, or vice versa, but it's still a great match. I actually love this one too. I was legit scared because this could have gone either way. This was the most unpredictable AEW match I've ever seen, and it ended with my guy winning. So I'm actually happy. What are your thoughts before we get to people complaining about Punk?
I I liked it again, a storytelling in the match. I liked it. Hey man, try be seeing part of ending. I like the ending. Hey May pay put a title. He was gotta do it, but he didn't want to win that way. And look, singing Hey May pay. He faced he I maybe he dreaded it. He looked like he dreaded it. He
Mhm.
should dreaded it. He didn't. He threw a tire on around. He told Steve about get up. That hesitation. That hesitation. Right there, costing him a match.
Mhm.
That gets to Zoe right there. Right there. He what cut see if on sitting bad in that moment. That good.
Yeah.
That good. That I say.
Yeah. And like a lot of people were complaining, oh, Tony just let another ex WWE guy go over Hangman. Hangman Page deserves longer title run, and Punk could have won in any moment. And this is like where I'm like, you fucking retarded. So first thing first, Hangman Page, to get to the Hangman Page thing, his journey to winning the AEW championship was great. But his reign as an AEW world champion was not so good. And I'm not going to act like he has the worst title reign. If anything, I would rank him a bit. I might rank him higher than Kenny Omega, because his best match in AEW came as a non-title match. Here's the problem though, and this is something I will not blame Tony Khan on. I would simply blame it on Hangman Page.
I played Tony Khan. And not here
But
for.
like, people were saying the company was not behind him. No, actually, Hangman Page was built up strongly. He never lost a match. He was given a bit of a Superman-like booking, and he had a lot of support, and he had like some of the best match. Like, he was paired against Bryan Danielson and had some of the best matches in AEW. And it's more of Bryan Danielson doing him a favor. After that, he's not able to sell himself. Here's the thing. Tony Khan did his best with this guy. Hangman Page is a problem simply because Hangman Page doesn't carry himself like a world champion. Hangman Page couldn't sell himself as a world champion. How can you go through every top signing of AEW like Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson? Adam Cole twice, by the way, and still be the Dallas World Champion. Hangman Page is not a good promo. When he's really fired up, when he's acting like a confident guy, he's actually great. But Hangman Page is mostly doubting himself or mopey. He's hanging around with people from Dark Order. I think Hangman Page run not being as good is simply on Hangman himself. And here's the thing, people can't be like, okay, the company's not behind him. People were legit talking shit to Seth Rollins when he was the Universal Champion. And nobody was blaming how WWE is at fault, even though they keep sticking Seth Rollins with Baron Corbin. People were blaming Seth Rollins completely, saying he's not the kind of guy to be the top guy.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then that blame should be put on Hangman Page too, because he was given a stronger booking than Seth Rollins ever got, and he was given variety of opponents and good matches. But instead, he basically fucked himself up.
Exactly.
So it's not Tony Khan's fault because the company was totally behind him. throughout this whole entire thing, he got a strong booking. He never lost, and he even went through some of the top guys, like some of the top signings of the summer of 2021. And if he still failed, it's on him. And here's the thing: people were saying Hangman deserves a longer booking. Hangman Page could win. Hangman Page always seems like the main character of AEW. He can always have a second title run. He doesn't have to go through everyone. Not every title reign has to outdo each other in terms of how long it should be.
Exactly.
Hangman Page or a CM Punk would have no viable threat to him. Maybe besides MJF, but even that fish is going out of the water. Who are you going to bet on? John Moxley? Everyone knows John Moxley ain't winning it. So how can you be like Hangman Page? It's too soon when he already had like a lengthy title reign. He had a lengthy enough title reign, and it's good enough. And the thing is, he doesn't go. If the plan is to put the title on him again, there is no logical reason for him to go through everyone. If he goes through everyone in his first title reign and has a lengthy title reign, you don't want to see a second lengthy title reign. And Hangman Page is young enough. CM Punk, on the other hand, is old as hell. He's working on he's working on a clocking time right now. The time's ticking for him. He's old. He's not going to do this for long. I'm pretty sure after his contractual, unless he extends it, I'm pretty sure after I'm pretty sure once his contract is done, he's going to retire again.
Yeah.
Punk should definitely be the guy to be the world champion while the rose is still blooming. He's the best part of the show. He's one of the top guys he's one of the top guys in AEW. And if your point is to get people eyes on the product, putting the belt on Punk is the best idea, and this is like the best. It makes the best storytelling sense. Punk coming back after 7 years to get back to the top.
Exactly.
And it's not like he just got a title shot. He had best programs with everyone he came across. He was even having competitive matches with other people he shouldn't have with. And he made a lot of these guys more over. Darby Allin was more over after his program with Punk. MJF was already over, but he had like one of the best programs with MJF. Wardlow looked strong after his outing with CM Punk. For Punk to and this is and you can't have Punk be the highest paid guy when just to have good matches or great feuds. If you having him be the highest paid guy, you should put the title on him.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. He a hard paid guy. He should get the title belt. Like Woman. Woman high paid guy.
And Punk worked his way to the top, and that's like a thing. Like people are acting like oh he's favoring another WWE guy. Punk gave MJF the win over his own hometown, and he's at a point where he's not going to do this for long. You cannot see everyone's saying Punk can win the world championship at any moment. He's 40, and he's at the best. He's having the best run of his entire career. You can't just be give him the title run when he's cooled down. He's old, you can't do a lot of shit with him for long. So you might as well capitalize when he's hot and strike while the iron is hot. They should have done the same with Bryan Danielson, but it was during the earlier stages of Hangman Page's run. So this whole thing of people saying about Punk not being Punk not deserving it, he absolutely deserves it.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going to do a New Japan crossover at Punk's hometown, Punk should definitely go in as a champion.
Yeah, get him more eye on a product. That
It
make a
makes
lot of sense.
it makes sense for Hangman to it makes sense for Punk to go over at this particular place where he became big. And Hangman would have no viable threats. He already had Brian Danielson. You can't go anywhere from here if Hangman wins. The other
Yeah,
thing, people are talking about how Punk's reign is like Punk is not his WWE self. Punk doesn't have to be. It would feel out of place and disingenuous. I'm sure Punk could be a heel and he could talk his way, like make you believe that he in fact hates AEW. But people are still happy that they got CM Punk back after 7 years. Punk should not be a heel any point anytime soon. I actually like this more happier, mature CM Punk. If Punk starts shit talking AEW, it would seem disingenuous. Punk's entire thing, he's not some anti-corporate rebel. Anyone who thinks that are not paying attention to his character and why he worked. He was shit talking WWE because he meant it. And Punk's entire thing is he can make you believe in what he says and what he does. If he comes there as a heel and starts shit talking AEW, you would not believe it.
yeah.
And this would be at a time where people just want CM Punk back. You think anyone would hate him?
Nope.
And again, striking while the iron is hot is sometimes the best thing ever. It's always the best thing.
Yeah.
Doing it any other point would just be stupid because the guy's cooled down now. It would be the same level as when they put the WWE Championship on Dean Ambrose. He was already cooled down when you put the belt on him. And this was during the height of AJ Styles' run, when people want AJ Styles to be the top guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And if MJF remains, Punk should be the guy he could take the belt from, and they can continue their awesome feud. But as of right now, Punk winning is the best thing ever. And when they put the belt back on Hangman Page at any point, they should build Hangman Page better instead of this guy who doubts himself. You can only like this guy for so long until you like he's full of shit.
Yeah. We'll build him.
I actually like the fact that FTR came, and I actually would think that FTR would be like the guys that would be close friends with Punk. They have a lot in common. They both have quality control in this and what they do and what they say, and they're both Bret Hart fans. And Punk and FTR would get along really well. So since they put the belt on Punk, I just hope they put the belt on FTR.
Me too.
But as I said, Punk is the right guy. It's a great match with the right guy winning. And I'm looking forward to how they do CM Punk's title reign.
Same here.
I hope they build Hangman Page better and maybe then put the belt on him. But he needs to do other stuff.
I had Dewey. They gotta make him heel after CM Punk thing. That my theory.
Heel Hangman would actually be interesting. But there are more of it. Here's it. I don't hate Hangman, but Hangman needs to be treated better. He needs to be built up better. And as much as I hate to say this, because in Full Gear it was either Hangman wins or this fucking company is shit. In a situation like that, you had to put the belt on Hangman. But the thing is, maybe Jim Cornette was right about that. They didn't build him better. And the damage from those poor build-up affected him badly. Even when he's having the best matches, after that he had nothing else to do. He needs to have less of that Young Bucks influence.
Yeah, he now Jim not only one said Webster say he has shitty booking.
Like Hangman Page didn't feel like a world champion, and that is like a distinction. And this should not be the thing you should do with your top champion. If your top champion doesn't feel like a world champion, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, something wrong.
But actually, like Punk's title reign has more opportunities and it would be far more interesting. And I trust CM Punk to have a great title reign simply because of how much quality control he had and what he does. Now, the other thing is, this basically caps off AEW. I'm so glad they didn't have a stadium stampede match, because this would have followed the Punk match and they would have stink up the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is a fine pay-per-view, not bad and not great. And this is the thing about AEW. Once they do something right, they become like, they can convince you to be the best wrestling company ever. But when they do something wrong, they can convince you that this company is garbage and doesn't deserve nearly the praise that they get. And maybe that's why Wolf and me are a bit split on this, because they do so many bad things, and then they do good things in the middle of it. Like Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deep match. If you point at that match, and people would be saying like women's division is pretty strong, but then you see the other matches, and you're like, no, it's not so great.
Yeah,
then
you did shit. You did shit.
You can point at the Punk and Hangman Page match and see this is a great company, and then you can either point to the Jericho shit or
the Sammy shit.
The Sammy shit, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? So it bridges between fine, garbage, bad, or good, or great.
You don't want to watch a product ever again.
And then they do something right and you want to see more of it, and that's like so confusing. They need to work with their format. And here's the thing, I do believe they genuinely want this to be good, but needs to tone down. Sometimes less is more. If you have every no DQ match, it would not be special. Just like how you have 3 or 5 trios matches, it would not be so good. You had so many multi-man matches that single matches are a rarity.
Yeah, major spectacle. Try to say one
and
save it for a special night.
Some of those matches can literally go away. They could happen in Dynamite, and you can have all the great matches later, like space out some stuff, lose some of the stuff that are not as interesting, and put your hottest thing on the pay-per-view. They have no excuse for not putting FTR and the Jungle Friend facing each other in the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Even if you want to feature Keith Lee, and they could have like, you can remove the Sammy shit, and you can literally put Keith Lee versus Starks and Hobbs.
Yeah.
You can remove the Death Triangle match and put something else. Have a 3-way TNT match if you want to. And where's Miro? Where's Rusev? He lost to Bryan Danielson and disappeared off of television.
He
What's
and
going
Sh-
on with him?
he and Shao mission.
What happened?
He and Shao mission.
Another dimension?
Yeah,
Uh,
waiting for so I push him.
as soon as I started to like Miro, he disappeared.
Yep, yep. Poor Nero. Yeah, good giving right there. Yeah, good giving.
And that is AEW pay per view.
Yeah, vote. Yeah, good part. Yeah, bad part.
There's the good part, there's the bad part, and then there's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, fuck Jericho.
Fuck Chris Jericho. Fucking retire.
Yeah, fucking tired. Yo,
Anyway,
bastard.
you have any concluding thoughts?
Yes. Either you stop putting Jericho and Samazar. Stop putting them two. For the love of God. They are not good for business. Their master is horrible. They are
Not even
shit.
Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho. But yeah, like Sammy Guevara is intractable, but you can have a heel Sammy Guevara. Chris Jericho as the heel or the babyface is not working. And my concluding thoughts are fuck Chris Jericho. Fucking retire. Hardy Boys need to retire too, but Chris Jericho needs to go away sooner than both of them. Like you already have I've never seen a guy tarnishing his own legacy by bad ideas he's pulling. Maybe he should have stayed in WWE.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't deserve the Universal Championship that I was kind of behind him for.
Yeah.
Fuck Chris Jericho. Anyways, if you like this stream, leave a like and subscribe for more awesome content. I don't know if I'm going to do if my next review is going to be on Dragon Ball Superheroes, because I embrace the pirate wave, and if the movie is out online, even in a bad print, I'll watch it. But that depends. But at the very least, we'll talk about the main guy, that the final villain. Like if it's Cell, I think we will discuss that if World don't mind. But
I will make a short video about it.
Yeah, at this point I'm convinced that the movie will come out before the Granola arc ends, and that's the reason why I'm not doing any other reviews, because I'm just waiting for the Granola arc to end to do an entire stream on it. And but I could consider doing the Dragon Ball Superhero movie. At least something about it. But that would depend on if I get to see the movie before everyone else.
But I want to do a video about Spy Family anime.
Yeah. So you should subscribe to Wolf's channel. Because I appear more consistently in Wolf's streams than I appear in mine. So if you want to watch Wolf's stream, you should subscribe to it, because he has other stuff too, whether it's recording slap fights or talking about anime, or even doing a stream.
My views are anything.
If you want to jack off to Wolf's VTuber avatar, you can see Wolf's VTuber avatar more consistently, then you can see him in mine. So subscribe to Wolf's channel, and if leave a like for the stream and subscribe for awesome content that's not going to appear anytime soon. This is Masturbator signing off. Thank you, everybody.